4.7 lesson is the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This quadratic formula is used to solve for the solutions. So if you didn't want to take the time to graph it and see where the parabola crosses the x-axis, you could just use this formula to help you solve for it. If you don't want to factor, or maybe the problem doesn't factor easily, you have decimals or strange fractions as your answer, then this quadratic formula works for every single problem, regardless of how nice your solutions look. So this is a good method to know. So the first step is, I'm giving you the equation 2x squared minus x equals 4. If the problem like this one is not set equal to 0, you want to get it set equal to 0. So we subtract the 4 on both sides, so we're left with 2x squared minus x minus 4 equals 0. So that's going to be our first step. Our next step is we're going to label our a, our b, and our c. Now the a is the number in front of our x squared, our b is the number in front of our x, and our c is the number by itself. So our a would be 2, our b is negative 1, and our c is negative 4. And then from here, we just plug those right into this quadratic formula. So it's negative b, so negative negative 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times our a, which is 2, times our c, which is negative 4, all over 2 times our a, which is 2. So we just plug them in. Now we're going to simplify it for our final step. So then from here, negative negative 1 is just positive 1. Negative 1 squared is positive 1. Negative 4 times 2 times negative 4 is positive 32. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So 1 plus 32 is 33. Now the square root of 33 is just 5.7, so I'm just going to simplify that down. So then from here, this plus or minus sign means that to get two of your answers, you're going to add to get the one, and you're going to subtract to get the other. So then if we take 1 plus 5.7, click enter on our calculator, and then divide that by 4, we get our one solution. And then if we take 1 minus 5.7 and divide that by 4, we get our second solution. So let's do that. And make sure you click enter after you go ahead and add. So it is 1 plus 5.7, click enter, divide by 4, and we get 1.675. And then to get the other solution, we're not going to subtract. So 1 minus 5.7, click enter, divide by 4, and we get negative 1.175. So you'll see if you try to factor this one, just looking at the solutions, it wouldn't have factored nicely. Okay, now the next type of problem that we're going to look at is underneath this radical in the quadratic formula is called the discriminant. So if we look at our quadratic formula, again, just this part underneath the radical is the discriminant. It's going to tell you how many solutions there are. So like this first example that we looked at, it was a positive number, positive 33. If the number is positive, then you're going to get two solutions, just like how we did. If this is 0, think what is the square root of 0, which is 0. So 1 plus 0 or 1 minus 0, that's just going to give us one solution. So if that discriminant is 0, you know you're going to only get one answer. Now if this discriminant was negative, the square root of a negative number is no real solution. So you're going to have no solutions. Okay, so that discriminant is important. As you're going through and simplifying, you'll know then how many solutions there are. So let's take a look at another example. We have 2x squared minus 3x plus 7 equals 0. So our a is 2, our b is negative 3, and our c is 7. So we plug those in. So we have negative negative 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 3 squared minus 4 times our a, which is 2, times 7, all over 2 times our 2. Then we simplify it down. So the two negatives cancel out to be positive 3. And then we have negative 3 squared. Make sure if you're putting that into your calculator, you put it in parentheses just like I have it. If you don't put it in parentheses and you put it in your calculator, it'll give you negative 9, which negative times a negative should be positive. And then negative 4 times 2 times 7 is negative 56 divided by 4. So 9 minus 56, we end up getting negative 47. Notice how that discriminant is negative, so we don't even have to simplify it any further. We know it's going to be no solution.